Braintrust podcast. Oh, we're still sending. We're not live yet, actually. Sending data. Cool. Streaming on YouTube.
Get the.
There we go.
Are we live?
Can you hear it? Ladies and gentlemen,
We are
live.
Say something
Welcome.
real quick.
Give me 1 second here. Welcome to the Yolo Braintrust podcast. Tonight I am accompanied by my two co-hosts. First is Bobby. Bobby, you got something to say?
I got something. I want to say it, and I'm just gonna say it. Nirvana's overrated.
All right.
Nirvana is overrated.
And Shaw, welcome to the podcast, Shaw. We're going to give you an applause and not Bobby, because he's a bad take machine.
Oh, because I'm saying the truth here.
Listen,
like
hold on. Stop being selfish. Stop being
song.
selfish and let Shaw introduce himself. Shaw, Scott, you got anything for us tonight? Anything you want to say to get started here? Any introductions?
Hey everyone, I'm Shah. I don't listen to Nirvana, because
You're overrated.
I'm straight. That's about it.
All right.
I'm a gamer. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm just podcasting today. You know, I decided I had nothing better to do as a man in his 20s to podcast. About it.
All right. Oh, this is burning up.
Way to get the dead air going. This is a great way to start a podcast.
Well,
Holy shit.
I want to start this debate.
Hold on.
Hold on. Fucking A.
Dude, you're the reason for the dead air. You got that? All right? Because you come in with all the stuff you have to say, and then you're like, oh, actually, I'm gonna talk over everyone. I'm not gonna let Shaw introduce himself. I'm gonna do a whole spiel.
I come in with this stuff to say to start something, and then you're just like, no, I'm not gonna let you start something.
Uh-huh.
Based
Right.
and smegma pilled.
So you say you got a debate. I was gonna kind of intro us in here. Do you want me to intro us in first? Tell them about the new camera setup we got going on.
I mean, I don't think people care, but okay.
All right. Well, not with that
All right.
attitude.
I mean, I'll just introduce it here. I mean, for maximum brain rot, we're having two streams going at the moment. One is Call of Duty World at War Custom Zombies, manhandled by yours truly. I'm the one gaming that, and then we have the face cam of Travis's beautiful face. He's running
Thank
the
you.
pod, and then his stream of Legend of Zelda, which is auto connected. It took us 45 minutes to figure out how to do this. So be thankful.
Oh, no. For
viewers.
the record, it took us like 25 minutes to figure out how to do this, and then another 25 minutes, for Travis to just be digging around in YouTube analytics and like. You don't understand how complicated this setup is. You don't understand how complicated this is.
See, listen. All right. Here's the thing. You never have to listen to yourself. All right. In Discord, and make sure it's a mix with everyone. You have a little slider at the bottom, and if they're too loud, they're too loud, and if they're too quiet, and you just adjust the slider and fix it. However, if you're streaming, it's a whole different ballgame. Not only do you have that, but you have to see how it sounds in-app. And in fact, we don't even have all our audio going right now. But I wanted to get going, and I'm trying to fix it on the fly.
I mean, I don't see, like, okay. Don't get me wrong. I think audio obviously is the most important part, especially for a podcast. But generally, like, people will generally like deal with bad video, but they won't deal with bad audio. I don't understand why we use the same microphones every time. How everything drastically changes.
Right, it's the environment, bro. It's like different environments.
Yeah, it is kind of a miracle that it works that way.
Room.
Yeah, but you never know how different the levels will be. Like last night, I had a guy, one of my neighbors. He was throwing a party. I mean, his music was blasting through. I could feel the bass in my room. Shout out suburbs in a big urban city. And it's about it. So it's like, well, things change. Bitches change, and they act like I notice. Getting money. I can't say the word after that. That's my main focus.
You know, I'm honestly kind of debating if I want to like have the Switch audio on at all, because it's gonna be such a nightmare between the Call of Duty going on at the bottom and us talking and the Switch overlaid on top of that.
Yeah.
But it's I
And
think
then-
it's avant-garde, and I think that speaks to what we're really going for, right?
Well, yeah, and then next stream we'll have the Family Guy funny moments with subtitles both in English and Chinese.
So, are we gonna are we gonna contract out that work to someone on Fiverr? Or are you willing to do it yourself?
You're just gonna fucking put a YouTube video on the OBS and slap it on in like 2 seconds.
All right. I know you were joking, but now we have to do that.
I mean, I was thinking about doing that originally.
No. We have to do that. It's no question, no debate. We're doing it. No, we're doing it.
Hold on here.
Like, we're gonna become that podcast that people watch ironically, just to be able to say just to be able to say they watch it.
Yeah, and then we talk about smegma males and stuff. Yeah, just literally any Family Guy funny moments YouTube video. There's like Family Guy funny moments for 30 minutes.
Let's see if this works. Oh, we got it. We fucking got it.
No way he's doing it right now. No way he's doing it right now.
No. So here's what I'll
Yeah,
tell
he's
you
playing
guys.
Zelda, isn't he?
No, so here's what fucking how long are we into the stream? We're 6 minutes. Okay, we're good. Here's the freaking thing about OBS.
I said the F word like almost instantly, so.
Is it loves to reset everything every time you open it up. I mean, that's like the biggest problem.
What, OBS?
Yeah, like it turned
That
off
sounds
like
like a
half my
skill
audio
issue, man.
interface.
That sounds like a
What?
skill issue. It sounds like you're not quitting properly.
No,
You're
I
not
mean, it
saving
resets
it.
like all my audio interfaces every time. Every audio source, it's like, oh, surely you don't want that back on again, do you? And you gotta go back and you gotta adjust it.
Okay, I feel like you need to get some OBS skills in there. Unironically, like I feel like there's a setting that you probably have where you're probably like forgetting to click save or something when you set it up, and so that doesn't know to save it. But like I'm sure most.
No, because most of the time it keeps it. But every now and then, it just decides for whatever reason, we're just gonna disable half your audio sources. And then you just gotta figure it out again.
I gotta open the witch's hut.
So, you said you wanted to start a debate here, Bobby.
Yeah, I came in hot with a take, and then you guys shut me down. So.
We'll go back.
I legit don't listen to Nirvana, so like I can't even comment on it. Like I wish I could, but I can't.
Exactly. And I think that in and of itself is a comment. So my take is Nirvana's overrated. I think they made one notable song. They made a couple other songs. Like I can probably name 2 songs that I know are by Nirvana. And then they made a bunch of songs that you listen to, you're like, oh yeah, I know that song. Oh, that's Nirvana? Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's pretty good. But like they don't have like a catalog. Like the reason I say it's overrated is because everyone you talk to that likes Nirvana is like, oh dude, they're the best band ever, man. They inspired like every band that has ever existed after them. Like they're amazing. And like Kurt Cobain killing himself is like the worst thing that ever happened in the history of the world. And it's like, no, bro, they're like okay. They're okay. Like they're okay. They're not that great. And they're not that influential. That's my take.
So what made you come out with that take? I had quite a big Nirvana phase, but I don't know if you guys have ever really seen me in it. So
yeah, I have.
Is this just, are you trying to be like contrarian against me, or what's going on here?
You and a bunch of people are always just like, oh dude, they're so inspirational, man. They're like the best music ever, man. I love them. Like they're not. They're like first of all, some of their songs are good, but they got a lot. Like not every song they have is a banger.
Yeah.
And they also just aren't like I just literally forget half their catalog. And then you're like, oh no, they did this song, and I'm like, oh okay, I remember that song. And then like the Foo Fighters, it's like I know Kurt Cobain and then that other guy because he started the Foo Fighters, but like Dave Grohl, but that's it. Like nobody knows the other band members.
So something you see a lot is people will take like Jackson Pollock paintings. You know Jackson Pollock, right?
Yeah.
And they'll take it and they'll be like, well, it's just botches. Like, what's so good about it? How is this art? Do you hold that same kind of sympathy towards that?
Well, I mean, Jackson Pollock at the time when he did that was seen as a hack. Like, Jackson Pollock becoming an influential artist was very random and arbitrary. It was literally like some random art critics being like, no, actually this is pretty good. And it's like, sure, but I mean, if you actually look at the history of Jackson Pollock and like his paintings and stuff, and like how he became famous, like it's also exceedingly arbitrary. It's not like he was super influential and like there's a lot of deep meaning to it. At the time, critics thought that Jackson Pollock was shit. And so it's like, yeah, Jackson Pollock paintings go for a lot, but I don't know. I'm kind of Jackson Pollock.
Well, this kind of opens a bit of a contradiction, right? Because at the same time, you seem to be latching on to the idea that like the fact that he wasn't acclaimed until after his death was something of note, but then you're also kind of holding the acclaim against him. So in your opinion, does the acclaim play any part in the quality of his art?
I mean, what? You're saying a lot of words, man. You're trying to make a straw man here.
No, because you're going back to his acclaim specifically, right?
Well, that's what you said. You brought up that first. You said, oh, there are people that think that is just a bunch of splotches.
Well, I was just bringing that up to tie something together.
And I'm saying that was the case back in the day. That people have always thought that it was just a bunch of splotches.
Okay, then what's your opinion?
Necessarily contrarian. On Jackson Pollock is irrelevant because we're not talking about Jackson Pollock.
No, it is. It's gonna come back.
I don't know. He's fine, I guess. I mean, he's fine, I guess. I mean, I guess I would say he's probably somewhat influential in that other people do weird modern art now. I guess they say it because of him, but I don't know. He is what he is. I wouldn't say he's overrated because people aren't like obsessed with him like they are obsessed with Kurt Cobain. And obsessed with Nirvana and think that Nirvana is the greatest band ever, and like, oh, Nirvana's the best band since the Beatles, and it's like, oh, Nirvana's amazing. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Nirvana's that like. They're good. They have good songs, but they're not nearly as good as people say they are. They're overrated.
Okay, so you're not making the argument that like Nirvana is just too simplistic, or that
No, I'm not saying they're too simplistic. I'm saying they're overrated. I'm saying they're not that good. They're no Beatles. That's for damn sure.
And it's just because the music is never like it just never really was that catchy to you. It never felt that worthy of note.
I mean, some of them are catchy, but it's not like we keep constantly playing. It's not like there's like 8 million movies about them like there are the Beatles. It's not like, they're constantly getting airtime still. Like a lot of other bands.
Well, they are. I would argue they get a lot more airtime than.
They get like one song. Like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" gets airtime. But like, what other songs by Nirvana get airtime?
Heart-Shaped Box, All Apologies, Something in the Way, in non-radio format.
Literally don't know any of those songs.
On a Plane. Well, you should, because you've probably heard them a million times.
Maybe if you played them. But see, that's also my point. Is like. Smells Like Teen Spirit and like the one other one that's like Damaged or whatever, or like Rape Me. I think that's what it is.
What?
Yeah, that's the name of the song.
Those are the two songs that I know are Nirvana songs. Any other song, you would have to be like, this is actually by Nirvana, and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know, I've heard the song. But like, it's not like with the Beatles, where it's like, I can name you entire albums of songs, and most people I think can name several songs by the Beatles. And not only will they, if you listen to a song, be like, oh, I know this song, people will be able to listen to a song and be like, oh, I know this song is by the Beatles. Which is I can't say for Nirvana. I think a lot of Nirvana songs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Nirvana songs, people will hear it. They'll be like, I know this song, but they won't know that it's by Nirvana even when they're listening to it.
Okay, so a couple things. The first is I think comparing to the Beatles is like a really high marker to set, just because. I mean, think of Beatlemania. I mean, that's something that
exactly
uniquely could only happen in that era.
Exactly. But I think that
when you had only 3 channels and everyone was watching TV, the kind of music they were doing,
was bullshit. Because I mean, Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber have the same. I mean, Taylor Swift. Look at what's happening with Taylor Swift. I don't like her music I like some of her songs, like she's got good songs, but yeah. I can't say that she's overrated because she's literally filling stadiums and actually changing like Taylor Swift caused a congressional inquiry. Like that's how popular Taylor Swift is. You know, Kurt Cobain, I don't want to say he never caused a congressional inquiry, but he never caused a congressional inquiry like in a good way. Like it was always just like probably some senator was just like, we gotta ban pop music because that Kurt Cobain is too bad for the kids.
No, like, I mean, no,
he
did.
Cause
a congressional. I mean, he caused an inquiry to a shotgun in his brain.
All right, we don't have to go there. So in 1963, which I think is the year.
Shotgun did a really big inquiry into his brain.
All right. So the population of America in October 1963 was 189 million people, right? Later, February 1964, the Beatles went on Ed Sullivan for the first time. 73 million Americans were watching that, right? So you think about that. That's like a third. That's over a third of the population of America was listening to the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Okay.
I mean, you could say anything about Taylor Swift, but you think about like.
I'm not trying to say that the Beatles are overrated. I do not think that the Beatles are overrated.
No, I know you're not.
What I'm saying is there are people that I've talked to a certain extent, you included, that have been like, you know, Nirvana is like is like our generation's Beatles.
Well,
like Nirvana's like amazing. They're like
not our generation's.
They're like well, I mean, I've talked to Gen Xers. They're like Nirvana is our generation's Beatles. They're as influential and they're as popular and they're as amazing as the Beatles. And I think that is wrong. Like my take is that they're overrated. Is that people that say that, there's a lot of people I hear that give Nirvana a lot of praise.
But that's not the argument I'm responding to.
Well, then you're responding to then you're making a straw man.
Because I was going somewhere. You didn't let me go there yet. All right, you start talking right after.
I'm sorry, I didn't let you fit. You attacked the straw man. I let you build the straw man.
I'm gonna let you finish. But I was talking about Taylor Swift. I was saying you can compare this to Taylor Swift. You can't compare Beatlemania to Taylor Swift because you're talking about something that like was a cultural zeitgeist to the point of just like if you lived in America, there was almost no chance that you didn't hear about it. Like there's a picture of my dad. My dad was born in the mid 50s. Like right after the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. And him and a couple of his friends were doing they had like wigs or something like that, and they had a bunch of like fake instruments, and they're pretending to be the Beatles on stage. And they were in, you know, a rural part of the state that they were in. Like, you're talking about something that...
I think the same can be said...
Hold on.
Cultural zeitgeist exists for Taylor Swift.
No, not quite. And
not to the extent, but I think it's still... I think I'd be hard pressed to believe that there's a lot of Americans that have not at least heard of Taylor Swift.
Well, so where I'm really trying to go is, you know, Taylor Swift has a lot of people showing up to her concerts right now. For one, that's after I guess about a 15-year-long career at this point. Nirvana only existed for 3 years. But it also kind of throws things out of proportions because you talk about, like, in Dallas-Fort Worth, for example, there are, like, 6-7 million people now. And they do one show, right? So if you have like 30,000 people show up, that's a microcosm of the population. But it looks big because everyone wants to go see this, right? It doesn't even account for 1% of it. Now, where I'm going with Nirvana is the Beatles were uncomparable to everything. Taylor Swift, whatever, right? One Direction, anything that came after. And so much of that was due to the specific moment in time where they blew up. But Nirvana, too, was really, really massive. And, I mean, it was as close to happening overnight as it could in 1991. You didn't have 3 channels, and you didn't have, like, the Ed Sullivan Show and stuff like that. But what you did have was MTV. And Smells Like Teen Spirit, in particular, was playing round the clock.
Yeah, I mean, so here's my thing. You can say that both Nirvana and the Beatles, were what is it, consequences of their time or whatever, right?
Yeah, largely.
And to a certain extent, I guess I have to agree with that, but I'll allow myself to agree with that for this point. I think the Beatles, their catalog of songs backs up that moment of time. Like they're able to, I think that their skills are able to back up them being a thing at a time, but I don't think Nirvana's can. I don't think that their music is that good in terms of I think it's just it's rock, it's like grunge, like punk rock kind of stuff, but it's not timeless.
Excuse me.
I think it's
Well,
I think it's they got a couple of songs again, like Smells Like Teen Spirit, that like will always get airplay, but just the rest of it is just like okay.
For full disclosure, I think the Beatles are better than Nirvana by a long shot. I'm just saying that the Beatles are an impossible metric to get up to. Now, Nirvana.
But I'm saying that there's a lot of Nirvana stands that think like Nirvana is like, if you don't like Nirvana, you're an idiot. And I think that's just hype. I think that Nirvana's not that good. Nirvana's okay, I guess.
My biggest gripe with a lot of people are like anti-Nirvana, which I don't think you are. But like people who are anti-Nirvana tend to kind of take it from this perspective that it's just too simple. There's not much going on, If you know a lot about music or guitar in particular, there's something called a power chord. And in a typical chord, and I could actually, give me a second here.
He's gonna power chord. No way. No way.
Yes, but first, in a typical chord, there's 3 notes. There's a 1, 3, and a 5.
Menu.
What?
Are we restreaming?
I got the main menu.
Yeah, you're on the main menu.
No, I know. I'm asking, are we restreaming to Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cause I don't see the big box that has like all the shit in it for the for whatever.
So a chord is made up of a 1, 3, and a 5. Do, re, mi. So do, re, mi. Do, re, mi, fa, so. So do, re, so, right? That's the 3 notes that typically make up a chord. You have the 1, 3, and the 5. Now a power chord, for example, only has the 1 and the 5, so it's missing the 3rd. The 3rd is what gives it the emotion. So this is like a power chord, right? And so listen to the difference between. This is a power chord, and now this is with the 3rd. This is what gives it the emotion. You hear the difference?
Sure.
Okay. So Nirvana largely did not have the 3 in their stuff, and so people would say, oh, it's just a bunch of power chords, really simple bare bones chords. The progressions, are simple, but it was all deceptive. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on under the hood. With melody lines in particular, because you don't have the 3rd, which typically gives you a major happy versus a minor emotion. He could fill that in, and there's a bunch of complexities in between. There are a lot of really weird chord progressions you don't often hear in music, like a lot of music, and you'll hear this instantly, as long as it's coming through, and I hope it is like you have a...
It is.
Whoops. You've heard that before, right? It's been a long time since I played, and I'm playing without a pick. So you got the 1, 1, 5, 6, 4, right? Stuff like that. A lot of music is just built off that single chord progression alone. You know, and you can switch out the 6, you can change the order, you know, you can make one of those a minor chord. Nirvana did a lot of really interesting stuff, and to be clear, I don't think he knew what he was doing, and if you listen to him talk, it becomes kind of evident he didn't totally know what he was doing, but he had an amazing ear. And underneath, like, this bare-bones simplicity, you know, you don't have 2 guitars, right? It's just a bass, single guitar, and drums. And a singer. And in fact, the singer is also playing guitar, so you don't have separate players, which kind of forces you to be a little bit more simple. Underneath this bare-bones, super simplistic structure, he was able to do incredibly complex stuff. And incredibly, you know, catchy stuff. And that's something that seems like it should be easy. You know, there's only 12 notes in the Western, you know, tonal scale. But somehow it really isn't as common as one might think. And his ability to do that so successfully over and over and over again, that's, to me, that's what makes Nirvana special. And that's why, you know, I think it gets a lot of unfair criticism for being too simple.
Yeah, I think that's cope. I think when I say Nirvana mid and you have to go all fucking music theory on me, that shows that
you know,
Nirvana's
I feel like we've had this conversation before. Like,
Like-
I'm getting a real deja vu moment where like,
Like,
Travis has said this before.
Yeah, if I go a band is mid, and your first thought isn't, dude, have you listened to their songs?
Yeah.
And you're like, actually, in the music theory, you know, you have a third and a fifth. It's like, nah, dude, you've lost. I'm sorry, man.
All right, no. You know what? Let's tone it back a second here. So a couple weeks ago on the pod, we played a video where the Beatles were performing live
Yeah.
on the show, and there was a song that the Beatles were playing. I don't know if Travis can pull the clip up now if he still has it or anything, but
Yeah,
it goes
I can
something
try.
like, sometimes.
No, don't spoil it. Don't
Penis."
spoil it. Hold up
sorry.
here.
I forgot about that one. I was like, what fucking Beatles were we playing?
Dude, this server got so spammed with us, like, just bullying Clyde.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
The Beatles, if they were good. I love the videos that are like the Beatles if they were good, and it's just sped up Beatles, like pitched up, with like a drum and bass on them.
Okay, here. Am I streaming to you guys?
No.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that first. But while I'm pulling it up, I mean, yeah, no, I think I'm streaming my OBS to you guys. Am I?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or how about I stream the video? No, actually, no, I don't know how to do that. I'm on a.
No,
I'm on
I
a
see
PC.
your OBS.
You see it? Okay, cool. So yeah, let me open that back up. We'll watch the video real quick. Number 1 Beatles hit. There's a little bit of a strange start here, but you know it's art. Take from it what you will. All right, so we'll just
I think I fucked it up.
pop this on top here.
I definitely fucked it up.
Oh, sometimes I suck on a penis. Yeah. I suck a penis like I never have before. Oh no, I suck on a penis. Yeah.
Travis, it's muted.
Well, it's not muted on stream, but
Oh, was it?
it was muted for us on.
Oh, probably
Discord.
because of how it does it. It's yeah. No, that sounds right.
Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. We get the gist. So dumb.
Hold on. Give me a second, and I'm gonna give you a good faith criticism of your argument. So,
Let me make one more point, and then I'll let you rebuttal all my points.
okay, all right. As long as you let me do all of them.
I'm gonna I'm gonna end with this. If Kurt Cobain didn't do what he did, I don't think people would care about Nirvana this day.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot for me to respond to there. So first things first. You mentioned how I had to resort to music theory. I wasn't doing that so much because I think that's how you have to interpret it. I think the majority of Nirvana fans, and I think a lot of people are fans of them, whether you realize that or not, or the band in general, don't know much about music theory, but they enjoy the band nonetheless. And I don't think you have to. I think the music speaks for itself. It's just genuinely good on its face. But I was doing that to kind of show you a little bit of what's going on underneath the hood, as I understand it. As for the other thing, I think they killed a really young career, you know? It had a lot of potential to grow.
He did that to himself.
No. He killed a really young career, right?
Yeah.
She? What did she do?
No, I don't want to get into that, but it's
did he have a girlfriend?
I believe the official story.
I believe the note.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're just saying things. You're no different than a reactionary. You know, you're just one idea floats in your ear, and you're like, okay, that sounds good. Let's go with that idea.
It's the little bug in your ear telling you to take the cop's gun and try.
Okay. All I'm saying, this is an original idea, all right? Everyone, you can put up like one of those sheep memes, all right? One of them sheeple memes when you clip this. You know, everyone, you know, the idea that everyone has is that Nirvana good, and my idea is that my original, you know, idea is that Nirvana mid. I don't think the music speaks for itself. I think it's kind of mid.
Well, so my question is, what's the thing about his girlfriend or whatever? What's the theory behind that?
So a lot of people think that is, and this is a really frustrating one to argue because a lot of people are just like go bonkers with it. But a lot of people theorize that like his wife had him killed, but there's a lot of sources out there, and there were a lot of prior indications, and you know, the more I learned, the more it's like, yeah, no, I mean, he more than likely did it to himself.
Well, I'm saying he did it to himself, but I mean, he.
Oh, I thought you said she.
Yeah, Courtney Love. Like, he did it because of stuff that she did.
No,
like, he killed himself because.
No, if you and God, I'm gonna sound like such a nerd. There was one biography about him that was written in his lifetime, and with a lot of input from Kurt himself. And in this biography, he says a lot of things that are like, you know, kind of foreshadowing of the future. He kind of hints towards behaviors, you know, he's had in the past, and things that would kind of follow him through the future. There was definitely, you know, probably a bit of a reciprocal thing going on there, you know, it like feeds back on itself.
So his wife had him killed.
No, that's what people try saying. But it just doesn't pan out. I mean, you know, there were stories about him, you know, making attempts, and I don't know how much we can even talk about this on YouTube, because I think they have guidelines against this, is that, you know, he had these sort of behaviors, you know, at various points in his life, before and after he met her. And in some ways, you know, he was more of like the force in maintaining some more destructive behaviors than she was enforcing them. You know, she wasn't really the enforcer in that. In fact, I think she tried to help him on a couple occasions.
Like,
I think people just kind of like the allure of the story, and there's not a lot of like, people don't really care to read that much, and you know, people aren't very good at keeping track of the sources either.
Well, I mean, all right. So here's what I gotta say. People don't like reading. Yeah, we pay our senators to literally read and write our bills, and yet they're like sponsoring shit that they don't even know is in the bill. That some intern from, you know, Edgewater, Connecticut wrote. You know what I mean?
Or they just refuse to read it and then they complain about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they refuse to read it. They endorse it, then they complain about it. They vote yes or no on it. So I mean, if you want to get people to start reading, tell your senator start reading the bills.
It all comes downstream of that.
Here's my my take on it. You make one joke about Courtney Love being the reason that he did it, and all these Nirvana stands come out and treat it like, you know, you can't talk about him like that.
No, a lot of Nirvana fans also think that, and it's
you're treating him like he's the Pope. He's just a dead rock star, right?
No, it's like flat Earth theory.
It's why he's overrated. Because people take him too seriously. You take Nirvana way too seriously, man, and they're not even that good. They're no Tame Impala. I mean, Tame Impala is just one guy.
Sure.
Oh my God. The whiteness is shining through you guys. Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, the Beatles, and then you bring up fucking Tame Impala.
This is all Bobby, by the way. He's really kind of the driving force in this.
Like, where's some Fetty Wap, man? At least be like Big B. Listen to Fetty Wap.
Didn't he just go to prison?
Yeah, I think he got sentenced to 6 years by some Long Island DA or some shit.
Man, time to call your DA there.
Yeah, time to call my DA.
You need to call George Santos. Yeah.
I was about to say, he'd free him. I think George Santos would pardon him.
George Santos is
power.
I don't know. I feel like George Santos would pretend he has the power, and I think people would believe him. I think they'd actually, like, some guy at Rikers would be like, "Oh yeah, George Santos said he's free. All right, bye-bye."
Well, and two, I think a campaign where George Santos advocated for the release of Fetty Wap would get a lot of like eyeballs.
Yeah, I think
be written about.
Isn't he locked up right now though, Santos?
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
think he's locked up. I think he's on bail.
Yeah,
you know, because that liberal bail reform, they just let these crazy people like George Santos free.
Yeah. He's never getting elected to another seat ever in his life.
Dude, my fingers are crossed that he does.
He gets the pension already. He only had to be one term. That was the whole thing.
God, what a baller, man. I mean, the fact that he was able to do this in like a Biden plus 10 district and has been an absolute disaster on every front. And he just still has this swag about him. Like, he just doesn't give up.
It just shows the absolute, like, just how bafflingly terrible the New York State Democratic Party is. Like, New York Dems are they're pointless at this point. It's just, they completely are just full of infighting and just, they're collapsing in on themselves.
And I didn't know this until he said, someone said, how did this guy win in a Biden plus 10 district? And then you responded to them, and he was like, it's actually a Santos plus 18 district. And I was like, what is he talking about? And I looked it up, and I think he won by like an 8-point margin. So, I mean, there was like an 18-point spread there. People really wanted him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't represent me. I never voted for him, so
I mean,
I bet you wish he did.
He says the right things. I mean, who knew that? You know, you just say the right things, even if they're lies, and you get elected.
Bro lied through his teeth about everything.
And
I really want
not
a
single. Here's the crazy thing: not a single New York State Democrat fact checked it. Nobody was doing Oppo. They were like, Oppo, what's that?
Well, apparently people did, but like just no one cared. Like it didn't get any press.
I mean, they did some Oppo, but they didn't push it. Like
exactly,
they
yeah.
Pushed it.
Like I would have been seeing ads. Did you know George Santos was a drag queen in Brazil before he ran for Congress?
And that's the funny thing about like the liberals too, is like they're just as reactionary. It's just that like, you know, they try to mask it in like some sort of like idea of like respectability and
yeah, I think
I'm gonna be the bigger man in the room.
they can be just as reactionary, yet they shoot themselves in the foot by being like, we have to be decorum. That's why, like, I'm actually surprised that the debt ceiling stuff is going the way it is, because I was sure that like the Republicans were like ready to basically make it like, you know, like it was a game of chicken, and I thought for sure the Democrats were just going to lose the game of chicken, and I thought for sure like, oh, if the Republicans push and say we will actually let the country default, that like the Dems would just like back down, because that's what they always do. They always back down. They're always the party of compromise.
Well, my
And
understanding is that they did. The problem is like because there's like 5 senators in the House, or 5 Republican representatives in the House, who, you know, I mean, forced McCartney to go through 15 speaker elections until he won. They hold so much leverage, and so they're just like, the Democrats caved in like 2 months ago, and like they're just nuking their own proposals because they can.
An aside, can I digress for a second here?
Sure.
So I remember 4 years ago, I think it must have been like 2 years before the last election, or 4 years before the last election. Last time we had that big, remember we had that big thing where we had the block, and Brianna Joy Gray or whatever was just like talking to Sam Cedar about like, yeah, they should block the vote. They shouldn't vote for
force the vote.
They should force the vote, and the whole thing, Sam Cedar was just like, okay, and then what would happen? And then it's like, well, then they'd vote again, and they would lose, and nobody would win, and they'd vote again, and they'd lose, and nobody would win, vote again. And it was basically like they didn't force the vote because, you know, everyone was just like, oh, it's pointless. I mean, she's just going to win in the end, and there's no reason to do anything. And even then, I was just like, yeah, that's, I mean, ultimately, you're never going to win. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's always going to be the speaker, so there's no reason to push for that. Well, what did they do just now? They forced the vote. That was what they did exactly. What the Democrats
they got successful concessions, for sure.
And they got successful concessions. They actually got some of the stuff they wanted to do. And I think, you know, to a certain extent, actually, now I'm starting to side with BJG and be like, you know what? Like, maybe they should have forced the vote, like, a few years ago. Maybe they should have been like, yeah, we're not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi. And if they, like, you know, get mad, it's like, well, then do what we want you to do, because, you know, we're young and able to stay up late, and you're old and have to go to bed early, so.
Nancy Pelosi stock dips.
If you wanna go to bed, you know, do our concessions. So that's my aside. That's my digression.
No, I have heard it argued on the back end, because I've heard comparisons to this before, that like the issue was that there was no real meat to the force the vote thing. So like, even if they got that, you know, you hold people's feet to the fire, but it's never gonna pass, even the Senate anyways. So, you know, what's stopping someone from just lying, right, and saying yes, even though they don't, you know, they know the bill is gonna fail. And so, I mean, I kind of understand the objection from that perspective, but at the same time, you know, that stuff is so like out of my wheelhouse anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a big game, and I think the Democrats are really bad at playing the game.
Yeah.
Because, and I know this goes, you know, I'm going to talk about your favorite president, Travis. This goes back to
Jimmy Carter?
Yep, it goes back to the Carter era with the rise of modern neoliberalism. The rise of modern neoliberalism is all about due process. It's all about the means. If you have a good means, you'll get a good ends. And that is just not how things work. Nobody cares about the means. It's always an ends. The means are only ever a means to an ends. And if all you care about is the means and somebody else cares about the ends, they'll use your means to get to their ends. And that's what we're seeing with the Republicans. Everyone I talk to that's like a super big neolib or neoconservative, and they're all like, you know, centrist and you know, ooh, the, you know, Biden Democrat kind of thing. It's like, we need to compromise. It's like, okay, so what are you gonna you're gonna come to the table already saying that I'm willing to compromise. I'm just gonna come to the table with an even more batshit idea, and then if I get the normal batshit idea, then I've compromised and we're both happy. It's like, no, you fucking, You know, and you come with this big process. You're like, well, we made the process very just. It's like, cool. I'm going to use that very just process to push my agenda. Like, if you don't actually have politics, you don't actually have an agenda.
It's the same thing with literally everything in the world, right? Like, I mean, like, let's use car dealerships, for example, right? At the height of the pandemic, right, car dealers are going crazy. You go to a car dealership, they're asking a $10,000 markup on a car as a market adjustment, and you're like, what? Like, no way I'm paying 10 grand over MSRP for a market adjustment. Like, no way. But they have to start out with that batshit crazy price just so you're able to negotiate it down and get the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 over that they want for the car.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that makes sense. That's like a fair market adjustment. I mean, it's not really fair at the end of the day either, because, you know,
they're going to get the cars. MSRP. Yeah, you're still paying MSRP.
You're still paying over MSRP, but I get it. The market demands things, you know, capitalism, we live in a society, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I'm going to have to pay a little bit more for the car I want. But yeah, 10 grand over?
It's called anchoring bias, is the psychological term for it. Where if the first number that comes out, in anything, or the first position that comes out is your anchor. And everything from there is a deviation of that anchor, is assigned relative to that anchor. So if you come out with your 10 grand, over MSRP, that's a crazy like. That's why they say, like, when you go to like a the way the guy said how you weaponize that bias is like if you go to a like a yard sale, right, and you see something for $50. If you give them like a crazy, if you just like, I'll give you $2 for it, and then even if you're just like, I'm just joking, any price that you negotiate from there is off of $2. It's off of the starting price of $2. So you can then you super low ball them, and then you can get a regular low ball, and then they'll actually think that that's somewhat more reasonable.
Yeah, which is like, but like legit, that always comes down to you not knowing the actual market value. If you know the actual market value of things, you'll know when to turn away, and you'll know when to like not.
I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to there is no such thing as the actual market value. The actual market value is how much somebody is willing in that moment to pay for it. Which, in that case, when I say $2, is $2.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the only actual market value. Unless there's another person there bidding higher than me, that's the actual market value. If you're selling something to me in an open marketplace, that's it. That's what it isn't. There isn't like a grand marketplace of tchotchkes, but I mean,
it's not the New York Stock Exchange.
It's not there. There's no New York Stock Exchange for fucking lawn ornaments, right? Yard sales.
For pink flamingos, yeah.
Exactly. And I think that the Republicans, to bring it back to our original topic, I think the Republicans know that premise, and they know how to weaponize that premise, and they know who they're up against. And at the end of the day, you're only ever going to fight for yourself. And I think the Democrats, the people in that power, are in such high powers where they don't care. They're not fighting for themselves anymore. They're trying to fight for other people, and they just don't. The stakes aren't that high.
I remember hearing an interview a while ago, and I think it was on Majority Report, where they talked about how the Democratic Party changed, actually from the point you were talking about with Jimmy Carter to what it is now. I know I've said this a million times to you guys privately, but a big part of it was changing of the funding apparatus. For a long time, I think most of the funding, or at least a lot of it, came from unions. But over time, unions became less and less of a feature of the Democratic Party, especially once they were gutted in the 80s. And, nice. And they moved to corporations, I guess, sometimes small businesses, sometimes larger businesses. But that fundamentally changed what they advocate for and what's in their best interest, right? Because now all of a sudden, why would you support a party that isn't paying to keep you in office, right? You have to get in office somehow, and if it's the corporations that are paying for it, yeah, you're going to represent them first and foremost. You can give lip service to unions, but ultimately you don't want to shake the power structure when it gets rid of your funding unit.
I think more so than that, I think it's the amounts that come in because corporations always gave to political parties, right? Like they always corporations were always giving money to people and they always corporations will always give money to both sides. That's just they just want to hedge their bets, right? They always want to give to both sides and try and help. But I think the big thing is after World War II, and especially in the 80s and 90s, we saw the rise of mega multinational corporations. With the rise of globalism, we had the rise of mega multinationals that had way, way, way more money than any union could ever possibly have. Than the culmination of all the unions. I mean, we're talking trillions. I mean, Apple is set to be the first $1 trillion company. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. So I think you're right, but for the wrong reasons. Not that corporations just suddenly started to give money to politicians. I think it's that the amount of money that came, that they were just able to give so much more money to politicians than unions.
No, I think, and you know, if you think about it as percentages, yeah, if corporations donate more money, and unions donate the same, then the percentage difference would change. But I think unions were bringing in less money as they started to get gutted, and you know they became less effective. I mean, there's been a lot that happened before our lifetime, specifically in the decade leading up to our lifetime, that did a lot to gut unions. Even you know as recently as like 2016, I think it was, there was the Janus decision, which changed how union dues are paid, and that severely guts the power of the union and changes the way they interact with the workers, unionized and non-unionized. I mean, there was a point where I forget the percentage, but a massive amount of Americans were unionized, and they were formidable power, and a lot of Americans were pro-union, but
I'm union.
during the Cold War specifically, that changed for the worse, and by a lot. Are you there? Did you cut out?
Ah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm processing that. I mean, yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say I'm in a union, so suck it, nerds. My union sucks. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah, you want to tell us about it?
I think I've talked about it before.
I've talked about
On
it a
air,
little
though.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's like no bonuses. I don't really get any paid holidays. Like they're doing new deals and negotiations for it right now.
Like a new deal?
Yeah, but it's not like the Roosevelt's New Deal or like the Green New Deal. It's none of those that actually help people. It's more just like, oh, they're forced to do it because like the contract is up, so like they have to do something about it.
So I know we've talked about it before, but I forget what the answer was. Why is it that your union doesn't really seem to represent your position specifically?
Because I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the little point. I'm a nobody, so it's hard to find people that even represent me.
But is it something that like are there a lot of people that fill your specific position that
yeah,
you
so
know,
it's like
yeah.
So like the thing with me is, right, like my position has always been seen like, from what I've gauged, like people that actually stay in that position for longer than a couple years are only doing it for the health insurance.
Right.
So it's like the pay to them is like negligible at that point, because your health is usually 90 times more important than your insurance. And a lot of people that I know, like I said, are older that are doing this, have other full-time gigs. Like they don't like, because it's a part-time position, right? It's like they don't care. They get their health insurance, they work their hours, they're happy. So it's like it's hard to find people that would actually care about it as if it's like their main source of income. So they really don't. They just kind of like push it off. So that's what I mean. It's like it's hard to find people that are like actually willing and care and want much more benefits from a specific title. And that
Right.
thing is an issue too. Like a lot of people with specific titles, you can't like do certain things to them. Like I know a guy now, like they're trying to get rid of him, but they really can't because the union and his title, even though he's doing nothing related to his original title. So that's just union, baby.
But isn't that a good thing? I mean, because it sounds like he's still working. It's just that he has extra job protection.
Working is a very loose term for what he's doing. Yeah.
How?
But I mean, that's the whole point of the union, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I thought earlier you were talking about how much you want to be in that situation.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I'd love it. Looking at it from both sides of the party, though, like, yeah, it's great. That's why I'm in the union. But like, I haven't hit that point yet. I haven't hit the point where I can do that yet. It takes time, baby. It takes time. It takes years of experience.
Something really strange is happening in the game right now, and I don't trust it. I don't know
What,
if you want to
Zelda?
see Bobby. Yeah. Ooh. Never mind.
Is it gonna be a spoiler?
Am I gonna get spoiled? Are you gonna
Probably
put 3
not.
or 4 things together instead of the 1 or 2 sticks that I've been putting together the entire time I've been playing the game?
Wow, that was
Alright.
interesting. It just happened. I thought it was a trick. But it was not.
Shaw, what is your problem with The Legend of Zelda? All right,
I
it's a
just think
good game.
I don't know. I just don't find it appealing.
Well, you hate good games? Is that it?
No, I just don't find that specific title and genre appealing.
So you hate good games? Is what I'm hearing.
No, it's a game is objective to whether it's good or not. It's very subjective.
It is
to
very
the person playing.
objective. You're right. And
No,
Zelda
it's
is.
subjective. It's subjective. It depends on who likes it and who does it. If you like the game, more power to you. But I can still make fun of you because I don't like it.
You know, I'd say it's subjective if there wasn't the Game Awards, which is an objective measure of how good a game is.
And what about the Grammys? Are the Grammys an objective measure of who's good and who's not?
I would believe so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's rigged. It's all rigged.
Just like the Academy Awards, the Oscars is.
Yeah, it's all rigged. It's all rigged. None of it means anything, buddy.
So
It sounds like you just have bad picks.
I'm trying to think about how to word it. Do you think it has more to do with you not being that into games to begin with, or are you just not?
Yeah,
into the
kinda.
specific-
I like games that I could like kind of like brain rot. You know what I mean? Unless I'm so into the game that I just want to play the game and do everything in the game, then sure. But if I kind of want a game that has like minimal strategy to it, like the games that I was playing right now, right? Like the zombie games, there's minimal strategy to it. It's more brain rot, you know, just like doing similar things over and over again and seeing how long you could do it for before like you die. I like that. I used to really like the Ubisoft games back in the day, but then I realized they're all the same, like Far Cry. Like a lot of the games end up being the same, where it would just be like, yeah, like you come and you break free an objective, and the objective is similar, if not the same, the entire time. There's no change. There's no like procedurally generated things going on in the game.
Dude, that's the difference between Zelda. Zelda's got, you know, different things that you can do.
Zelda's
like,
gone through some evolutions, and I think it's now closer to what you're describing than ever. Now more than ever closer to what you're describing. But yeah, I mean, something I've noticed in people too is like a lot of people are either like very into Nintendo games or they're very anti-Nintendo. And I don't know if that plays a part in your decision, but that is something I've noticed.
I don't have a problem with Nintendo games. I think whatever people like and enjoy should be fine. Like it really doesn't matter. I just clown you guys because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
So
Like
whatever we like and enjoy should be fine, but you're gonna clown us.
Yeah, I'm gonna clown you. It's the freedom of speech, baby. I can say whatever I want.
I
Freedom of
see.
speech. Is it really freedom of speech if you're hurting our feelings?
Facts don't care about feelings, liberal.
Is there really freedom of speech if it isn't free?
Freedom isn't free.
That's correct. Freedom is not free.
Stream, single player, boom. Back at it. Back at it. Alright. Alright.
So, I
Time's
mean,
at
what kind of stuff
9:20.
were you into
Okay.
as a kid? Like what'd you do for fun?
This, like what I'm doing now. Like I'd just be playing, except these are like all custom maps that I was finally able to, like, as an adult, own a computer and download the mods and go through the things to be able to do it. But as a kid, I mean, it's pretty much the same stuff. Like,
So you're still
I've
playing a
always
lot of
been-
video games. It was just that kind of video game.
Video games. You're playing
Yeah.
shittier video games.
yeah, I was playing shittier video games, you know, first-person shooters, like racing games, stuff like that. I used to play a lot of WWE as a kid when I was still into that stuff. I don't play it anymore. Like, I'll maybe play it every once in a while for nostalgia. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, zombies has been a big thing to me, but like zombies up to like Black Ops 2. Like,
Yeah.
Black Ops 3 and after is all garbage to me. And well, Advanced Zombies. Advanced Zombies was fun. Like, from Advanced Warfare. A lot of people hated that game. I didn't necessarily like it either, but it was like, it was different, you know what I mean? It was different.
When did that one come out? Was it the one after Modern Warfare 3? Like on the what are they called? Infinity Ward side?
Yeah, I think it was like 2015 or something at that point. It was like just when the PlayStation 4 was coming out. So it was both on the PS3 and the PS4.
Which one are you talking about? Advanced?
Advanced
Advanced,
Warfare.
yeah.
That's the one with what's his face?
Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey, yeah.
Yeah. That campaign was pretty good.
I want to go through and play all the campaigns. Hang on.
Dude, I just had the most genius idea. I'm trying to get this Korok to where it's supposed to go, right? So my idea is I'm gonna create a mobile catapult, and I'm gonna get him there, and it's gonna be an insane.
Have you done
catapult, dude.
the fan plane thing where you
Hold
get
up,
two
be back.
fans? It's 2 fans and a control rod, and you like put them in a certain way, and it like makes like the most powerful like cruiser.
Yeah, I remember Dindy actually pretty early on, sent me a video, or sent us a video of a different iteration of that. It wasn't, the fans were positioned differently, so, it didn't have the same level of mobility, but I tried it once and I kept crashing.
This is the better version.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it, actually. So I'm probably ahead of you, so, you know, I don't think you really have to kind of spoiler anything off, but how's your
so then
Tears of the Kingdom playthrough going? Yeah.
So yeah, well, I mean, if there is any person watching this that doesn't want spoilers, I'm doing pretty well. I just got to underneath Death Mountain, so
Okay.
I'm doing that thing now, which is kind of funny because it's like you're talking to Inobo and he's just like, oh, what's down this underneath here? It's like, oh, this is interesting. You never been under here? It's like, yeah, I've been here for a while. Kind of fucking around in the caverns all the time. So I did a lot of stuff in the caverns. Oh man, I've done a lot of stuff. I'm doing that right now. And then I'm going to do Akala. I want to go to Akala so that I can get the travel medallion.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I'm going to go do Gerudo, and then finish that dungeon and do all the cavern stuff with the Yiga clan stuff.
Dude, I didn't know I could do this. I have the towing harness on, and I caught a beetle right in the middle of it, and it fucking catapulted him. And then he ran to the edge of a cliff just crying.
That's pretty sick. Oh, I'm doing a bunch of the what's it called? The Gazette like missions. Yeah. So I've been doing those. Yeah, otherwise I think so. I'm finally at the point where I can say Tears of the Kingdom is definitely better than Breath of the Wild, 100%. And I finally really like the fuse ability. I think I'm finally like using it in a way that I enjoy, and I think it's good. So usability is good. I'm finally really enjoying all of the mechanics, which is not something that I initially did. I didn't initially love all of the mechanics, but I'm really starting to enjoy it. Really starting to enjoy the building stuff. Got a couple of things, getting Koroks. I just overall love the game. Great game. Really upset that my fucking Pro Controller has got like a little bit, tiny bit of Joy-Con drift. All right, like brand new.
See, I didn't know the Pro Controllers could get those. I thought that was just a thing with the Joy-Cons themselves.
I don't know if you call it, but basically I put my thumb on the controller, I center it the way I think it should be centered, and Link is now moving backwards a little bit.
I mean, that's with any controller though. Like drift just ends up happening. Like when it gets old enough or used enough or bad enough, it'll start drifting.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a brand new controller, so it shouldn't.
Yeah, so I mean, it shouldn't be. Yeah, but it's just like it's like a mechanical wear and tear, like it happens.
Yeah. So
Nintendo Joy-Cons were specifically really bad about it though, and I think a big part of why it happened was there was like some sort of like padding or something that was supposed to be underneath the socket where the I don't know what you call it, the stick fits into place, the analog stick. And they didn't have it. And so over time, it would become loose, I think it was, or off-center. And it would start reading it, you know, as being off-center from there on out.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
sure.
I don't have true Joy-Con drift, because it's, I don't know. Because it's only, I can get it to stop. It's not 100% of the time. But like when I like let go of the stick half the time, he'll just keep moving. I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say we're gonna have to end the pod pretty soon. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, that sounds good. But before we do, Bobby,
yeah,
are
bring
you...
it up, baby.
What?
I say yeah, bring it up, baby. What are you gonna argue about now?
Well, I want Bobby to see this real quick. Let me actually start streaming again, just to make sure it works right. Let's see. Bobby, check out my stream.
Yeah, alright, I got Zelda's horse too. What'd you name Zelda's horse?
Goldie.
I named Zelda's horse Peach. After Princess Peach, and also because it's gold, like a peach.
Right. So here's what I'm doing. I have a Korok right here.
Or Korok. It's like big oof.
And, oh.
Oh my god.
And I got a plan. It's just gonna take a second to unfold.
You got a plan, alright. Holy shit.
So, we're going to catapult her.
Korok writes, alright?
You know, there was someone who, like, bought a Korok, like, plushie. And they, it's actually probably better if I use a bigger piece.
I wanted, my girlfriend wanted to buy a Korok thing on Etsy for me. Like this little, like, I wouldn't say crochet, but like tiny miniature of a Korok. But they were already sold out.
Yeah, they become really popular really quickly. My mom actually got me like a couple wooden Koroks.
Because they're cute. They're so wonderful
Christmas,
and cute.
yeah.
And people have been so mean to them. Like, there's no reason. Oh, there's 999 of them in Treasure of the Wild that you had to go collect. Oh, boo-hoo. They gave you a lot of content.
Yeah, but someone got a Korok plushie, right? And they froze it, and then I think they just started beating it with something, and tore it apart that way.
Man.
And you know, it's at that point that you take the abuse into the real world, and it becomes something different entirely, something horrible, something that you can never quite come back from. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a catapult here. And I'm going to try to pat it on all sides so the Korok doesn't fall out.
What is a Korok, by the way?
Do you see, well, you've seen the thumbnail. It's the guy in our thumbnails.
I mean...
You see the guy with the bag?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Korok.
Okay.
They've been in the Zelda series for a while. They're an evolution. This might be news to Bobby, but you probably won't know what I'm talking about here. But they were an evolution of the Korkiri.
Yeah, it's some real nerd shit. Start naming off like the next thing I'm gonna hear is that the main character's name was Gilgamesh or something.
Well, fun fact, there are aspects of the story that were based off the Epic of Gilgamesh.
What is the Epic of Gilgamesh? Like,
You don't know what the
I don't
Epic of Gilgamesh is?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, this is gonna work, I think.
I played sports in high school. I'm sorry.
I don't believe you did. By the way,
Varsity volleyball, baby.
you were in volleyball.
Yeah, I played volleyball.
They had men's volleyball where you're at.
Yeah. Why
I
wouldn't
don't know.
See, they don't have that in Texas because
men aren't allowed to play volleyball because that's a gay sissy boy sport.
yeah, that's exactly it actually.
That's fair. I'll take that.
See, all this posturing about being an alpha male, and come to find it's because you played volleyball in high school.
I sucked. I'll be the first to tell you. I sucked. But hey, my team made
Did
it.
he actually go, or did you?
No, that was a test run. Were you saying, Shaw?
No, see, like, I kind of sucked. So, like, I was carried by my teammates, and they played volleyball. Like, they played outside in clubs for, they played volleyball.
So they were the gay ones.
I mean, I wouldn't say gay. They were, like, built. Like, they went to the gym. They ran. They were real, like, athletes. Like, they were athletes. Like, they could be good at any sport if they put in work into it. They just preferred volleyball.
All right, this is the big moment. I'm gonna go with him. Oh.
Did he go far?
Oh!
What the fuck?
No, he got the Korok! He just ran over the Korok!
I'm feeling lonely.
Why can't you just attach him to the cart and just take him like a normal person?
Because there's a big ravine. What am I gonna do about the ravine, buddy?
Build a plane.
Oh, actually, I have a better idea.
PPSA. Ooh, baby. PPSA.
How much Zonite do you have right now?
I got
Under
a little bit. Here, we're gonna attach a spring to it. And this should be enough to solve the issue. Is he still ran over? Dude, this is so sad. He just got fucking demolished under this thing. Oh my god. Alright. I just need a way to keep him on the spring, because he's just gonna roll off. Oh no, we're good. We are so good.
How long is it gonna take?
This is it right here. I just gotta get him up here, and if this fails, we'll call it. God damn it.
Oh shit. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay. God, living in the suburbs is a dream come true.
Yeah, you're a big suburb guy?
Yeah.
Give me the quick argument for living in a suburb.
I watched that video of like the orange pilled guy, whatever he is. Like that's what he's talking about.
He got the truck.
Yeah, he got the truck. I'm like, I saw nothing wrong with that video. I mean, he had his own plot of land. He had his own vehicle. He could go wherever he wanted. Like, I don't see the issue.
A lot of copium there, buddy.
Like, I don't see the issue. Like, he didn't have to get a big pickup truck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people's wants and needs. Like, for his specific case, a Prius would have done him much better.
So, wait, what is this? And then you can go whenever you want. I gave up on that. That wasn't gonna happen.
It's the Not Just Bikes video where he like he's back in London and he has like the big truck and he's like, oh, I gotta. Actually, he's not even in London. He's in York.
He's in Ontario. He's in like
York.
He's in
yeah. But he's from London, so that's why I thought.
Yeah, London, Ontario is where he's from. London, Canada.
Yeah, London, Ontario. Okay.
In the great future state of Canada.
You sound like Theo Von right there.
Dude, yo, I swear to God.
Have you seen that video of Leo Von saying all of the places that he's gonna be touring at and just butchering them all?
No, I haven't.
He's like.
Should I pull it up?
I'm going to Medford, Connecticut, and then I'll be in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and then I'll be going to Toronto, Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario.
Yo, Ontario is just the biggest suburb. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
bring that shit up. Bring Jamie, can you pull that Theo Von
Jamie,
clip
pull that
up?
shit up. Oh,
the entire
me a second here.
province is one big suburb.
oh, no, no.
Oh, you lost it, buddy.
Hold on, it's so back.
Oh, fuck! I didn't even think about that.
We are so back. Oh, dude, this
Watch
is-
you not be able to capture it.
Nope.
Get it back, you fucking idiot!
Get it back! The One Piece! Wonder Waffle already? Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's see. What am I looking up here? We're looking up
Theo Von mispronouncing locations.
All right.
Oh, sometimes. That's it's gonna be stuck in my head now for the next 2 weeks because I watched it one time. Oh,
Here we go.
I just thought it was so funny when he drove to the grocery store, got the bag of milk and the eggs, and then came back and they were just fucking broken.
I'm like, bro, like there are better ways to do that video. I'm like, that just makes no sense. Any truck owner would not put that in his bed. Like, they wouldn't.
No, you'd be fucking surprised. I knew a truck owner that threw the only thing in the back of his bed was a set of golf clubs, and they were just destroyed every time he wanted to go to the fucking range. Because he was like, he just put them unprotected in the bed of his truck.
So
That's just dumb.
I have no idea if this is it or not, but you guys should be able to see it in a second here. Oh, I don't have audio.
You know, we wandered.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see, that's stupid. So like,
a hat is
like,
just a
the
little
pickup
apartment
truck
for your
I
head,
have,
really.
I actually like custom built shelving for it to be able to store all the things I need in the back of it.
You know, we wandered up
so,
into
like,
an
I
attic of
actually
a.
used the truck like a truck should be used. I didn't buy a truck just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I don't
Timmy,
even need a truck. I was able to transport my leaves and hay in my in a Mitsubishi Mirage.
Not
Yeah,
abandoned
well, that's
house,
'cause
but a house
you're
that
a
hadn't even been
neoliberal
built yet,
urbanite
so
that,
pre-abandonment. Look, a reindeer is just
Doesn't
a.
have any parking or something.
So
I have plenty of parking.
I have a video up. I don't
In
know
my
if it's the
rural
right
home.
video.
I don't think it's the right. It does not look like the right video.
Well, if you can find it,
Let me see if I can find it.
I'll stick it on here.
Oh, sometimes. Such a good video. Oh God.
Oh, you know what? Are you guys willing to goof for a second before we end it?
Sure, I'll do a goof, do a little bit of a guff.
Shot,
What are
you
we
in for a
goofing?
goof?
Let me see if I sent it to somebody.
All right, you pull it up, and if you find it, just put it in the chat. I'm gonna.
Yeah, before we
Before
we end it off a little here.
The Discord.
Yeah, just put it. Yeah, just put it in the Discord chat. All right, so let's. You guys know like testimonials, right? Where it's like I started taking Dr. Smith's cleansing water, and
Found it.
oh my God, I've just never felt so good.
I started taking these HIV pills, and I could have unprotected sex with men again.
Yeah,
like those.
exactly. So we're gonna do that. We're each gonna take a turn and say something like that, but for Never Stop Podcasting. All right.
Here, I found it. I'll send it in the Discord.
All right, we'll watch it after. So so really, what we're trying to do is we're pitching the Never Stop Podcasting idea. Let's see. I have to fix
Oh,
this
it's
real quick.
like a testimonial.
Yeah, and I'll turn to a fucking A. I'll turn to a short after. Right?
All right, so you want me to start? Or starting.
What was that?
We're starting.
All right, let's go, baby. We're starting.
Yeah. So, So I'll kind of do it as like a host here. Actually, let me go first, just so I can kind of get the host thing off. So Never Stop Podcasting has really changed my life. I've changed it for the better. I've learned to podcast. I podcast all the time. I've given up on my wife, my friends, and my family. But my podcast, it's really given me a lot of energy to keep going. Every day, I think to myself, I'm in the shower, I'm talking, and I think. I get the soap, and I start reading off the ingredients, and I start talking to an invisible audience that exists only in my head. And I'm just always podcasting. And life when you're podcasting, it's never quite quiet. Something's always going on. Bobby, I've heard Never Stop Podcasting has made a big difference in your life. You want to tell me what that difference was like?
Never Stop Podcasting has definitely helped with some of my friendships. I have some friends that I enjoy talking to and I enjoy hanging out with, you know, in an audio sense. But you know, they lead very busy lives, very busy, you know, hard to talk lives. But if you say, hey, what if we pretended we could monetize that interactions with each other?
What if every interaction we had was monetizable?
It allows them to say, you know what, maybe we will have more interactions and stuff, and eventually I'll get the courage to ask him if I can, you know, come to his house and you know, stir up shit, kiss his dad on the lips, you know, normal stuff like that, and maybe we could turn that into a clip. Wouldn't that be funny? So yeah, so that's how Never Stop Podcasting has affected me.
Shaw, how has Never Stop Podcasting affected you in your life?
I mean, it's pretty simple, right? It's either you want it enough or you don't. And that's what it's for. It's for the people that want it enough. And the people that want it enough will never stop podcasting. The people that don't want it, they're just going to stop. But we want it, so we're going to never stop.
Really sounds like a way to weed out the losers and make sure the winners are always winning.
I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Like let's say we're doing something together, right? Like we're doing this, right? This is what Never Stop Podcasting about. It's about doing. And I point you out and I go, hey, like, why didn't you do it? Because you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't feel like it. Yeah, because you don't feel like it. You don't feel like a winner, do you? You don't feel like you're ruling the world. You don't feel like doing this. But to be a man, you gotta get up and you gotta do things. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, being a man. Getting up and doing. Like, cool, I don't feel like doing, yeah, whatever. You know who else doesn't feel like being a dog? Dogs. But they're doing them anyway, right?
I never thought about that one.
Boom. There we go.
Well, in SP, they say never in stop S podcasting P. Never stop podcasting. It's a big movement.
NSP, baby.
We are the front runners of it, the thought leaders of it. And not only is it a thing that you do, and it's a community that you're in, but it's also a way you live your life. And so if you've ever been looking for a little bit of more kick, a little bit of more energy, a little bit more of, I wish I was doing something fruitful with my life. I wish I had a way to get away from my bitch ex-wife who's constantly calling me. I wish I had a way to stick it to my teachers. Never Stop Podcasting in SP. And I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight. Would you guys say so?
I think we have.
All right. Well, let me talk you guys out of here real quick. Oh my God, this thing's just moving on its own. We'll go with you first, Bobby. You got anything you want to say tonight, Bobby, before we pop off, we head off?
If you watch this, I hope you enjoyed it. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Oh. I'm gonna get there someday. Fuck, what is it?
All I gotta say is Call of Duty World War Zombies was one of the greatest games of my generation. It's sad to see what happened to it. I'm glad I'm able to like reconstruct its true feelings with these custom maps that I've been playing. We want maximum brain rot during our TikToks. While we may not have many clippable moments today, we will have more clippable moments in the future. And this is what will lead our channel growth to infinity. plain and simple. Who just texted me?
All right, and let's give it up for Shaw and Bobby. And I just want to say, my name's Travis. You've been tuning in to the Yolo Braintrust podcast, like always. Just about every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 p.m. if you live in the East. We're always glad to... Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. God damn it, Zelda.
Dude, okay, one of my biggest criticisms
Yeah.
is that it's so fucking long. Like, the Breath of the Wild Red Moon was like 2 seconds. It was like,
Yeah.
Red Moon rises once again, and then it was over. This is like, she goes through the same fucking spiel every time. It's like, Jesus Christ. We heard it once the first time. Just do the Red Moon rises once again and leave me alone.
Right. Well, and if you want, if you're thinking about, boy, what am I going to do until the next Blood Moon, on your end, I would say pop a couple episodes of the Yolo Braintrust podcast in. And with that, we are going to leave you for tonight and for the week. As always, have a safe, great week. And
Happy Memorial
NSP.
Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
Thank the veterans.
Oh, we
Thank the
almost forgot.
veterans.
50 subs.
Oh, we forgot. We did. We should make a separate video, like on Saturday or something.
Yeah, we could do that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank
let's
you
do that.
everyone for subbing. We see you, we hear you. We're glad for all of you.
We hope you're not bots from China wanting our information.
Yeah, and if you are, then you can frickin' unsub, man. But if you're not, we're glad to have you around. And with that, we're gonna
You can friggin' unsub, dude.
you can frickin'
Newsflash,
hit that
buddy.
dislike button and unfucking sub.
Newsflash, buddy. We don't want you here.
Get out of here. All right, and with that, thanks everyone.
All right, fellas.
Have a good night.